Grizzly, you and I and Harrison and Jackson, who I just asked their names because I already forgot, have been out here panning all day, picking up bits of gold, nice little bits. It's been a really cracking day. We've all probably pulled out, I don't know, maybe a 0.1 or something each, but I decided to run the gold monster just as I was going home. I was like, oh, I've had enough of that. I'm going to run it over this outside bank, and I spent forever busting apart this piece of ground, and I've been here for probably 25 minutes trying to find this target, and it came out in my scoop. Can you see that? Now I'm going to show the boys and just film their reactions. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you?
Yeah, I can see it.
It's a nice, who wants to pick it up? It's a nice piece of gold. What's up guys, Chris here from Vo-Gus Prospect. If you're new to the channel, a big warm welcome to you, and if you're an old moldy hat from Lithuania like this one, welcome back. Today we're out in the gold fields with the gold monster, and we're going to do a little bit of hunting for nuggets, because I had a lot of success just a few days ago with a couple of subscribers on the creek pulling out a beautiful 1.13 would have been good gram nugget. I'm actually running the 10-inch coil on my gold monster after having a chat with Busted Knuckles Prospecting up in New South Wales, for one simple reason. After he told me to give it a shot, I went out and did about 2 weeks worth of testing, and I found that it's just as sensitive as the small coil. You probably lose a little bit of that ultra fine stuff, but you know, it's picking up shotgun pellets at a couple of inches, and it's way more stable on hot ground. So much so that I found a beautiful 0.13 gram nugget in ground that I had previously detected that was too hot for the 5-inch coil. So without further ado, let's take it down the creek, see what gold we can find. The reason that the 10-inch coil is so much better is because you can run it in a hotter setting than you can with the 5-inch. The trick with it is ground balancing with this machine. So what you really want to be doing is finding the highest manual setting that you can ground balance to until you get quiet sounds from that coil. So for instance, if I go to maximum sensitivity on this, it's probably going to be too hot to be able to ground balance that noise out. See, I can't get rid of it. It got rid of some of it, but not all of it. Now, if I back that off a couple of notches, say, I can get that coil quiet. Now, targets are going to stand out when I scan over them. So you got to find the highest manual sensitivity that you can ground balance to until your coil goes quiet. Found a nice signal just in this pile of quartz here. Now, there's something important about quartz, and that is that quartz is heavy and it often accumulates in similar places to gold. It will be a little bit more dispersed than what gold will be. Gold's heavy, so it gets very concentrated. Quartz is just slightly heavier. So if you find a large accumulation of it, even though it's going to be more dispersed over that area, there's a good chance that there could be gold hiding with it. And the signal that I've got here is sketchy. So it could be like a very mineralized piece of quartz, or it could be a nice little piece of gold. Now, I'm going to show you the most sensitive part of the 10-inch coil, so if you're out here doing it yourself, you know where to scan the dirt over. The most sensitive part of the coil is right here, between the two words. If you scan your shovel over on a small target, scan it over this part. So if you do your scoop, or if you're detecting the ground, you want to make sure that this part of the coil is running over where you think the target could be. So for instance, run this part over a crevice. The first thing we want to do is make sure that the coil is ground balanced. We're not getting any noise from it, so we know that if there's a target, it's going to stand out. So here we go. Now the most important thing about any target, if you look at the screen, is that it's repeatable. Now just because it's going towards the iron side doesn't mean that it's not a small piece of gold, and it's bouncing back between the two. It could be a heap of different things, but let's dig it up and find out what it actually is. After a lot of piss farting around, I managed to get in my scoop. Not stuck on the side of the scoop, is it? It is. Ah. A shoot gun pellet. And that's just the way detecting goes. Honestly, you're more likely to find a lot of lead and trash than you are gold. It doesn't matter what machine you use, you're going to find a lot of junk. It's really important to note that. Detecting, you're going to find a chunk of gold if you find gold, but more than likely it's going to take you a lot of hours in the field before you find decent amounts of gold. The only difference is that the chances of you finding a huge bit increase with a detector over a pan. Hey Grizzly, we got a good signal, mate. You want to see it? In all likelihood, that is not going to be gold. It's probably going to be a bit of trash, but I really hope it's a nice looking nugget. Aha. A poo tab. An interesting target just in next to this big rock here. Fluctuating back and forth between iron and gold. So we're going to dig it up and see what it is. It could be a hot rock, could be a bit of junk, I don't know. Let's find out. Aha! Shotgun pellet. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The 10-inch coil can still definitely pick up the tiniest of little targets very, very clearly. So don't underwrite the 10-inch. If you've got it stuck away in your closet like I had it, grab it out, put it on, you'll get more depth, it'll be more stable, and you're still going to be able to find the tiniest targets. If that was a bit of gold, it would weigh very little and we'd still have it. Right, that is an interesting rock. It's got quartz, it's got lots of mineralization, it's actually quite dense for its weight. I'll wash it up and see if I can't see any visible gold in it. It's most likely, honestly, just mineralization. But when you get hot rocks like this, they are honestly worth taking home crushing up and seeing if there isn't any gold inside them. Sometimes you won't be able to see, it won't be any visible gold on the outside. And hot rocks that give signals mean that there's something metallic in them. Chances are it could be gold. Whatever this is, it's definitely not gold. It is a 22 slug. Hang on. That is one squished 22 slug. While I'm detecting away here and looking for gold nuggets, I wanted to talk to you about a statement that gets put on my channel a lot. That, man, you don't find enough money to live off. It's not worth your time if you're only finding 10 bucks worth of gold. That's pretty much how it goes. Now, some of these statements have come from people who are more or less trying to figure out how you could live off gold, and that's a reasonable expectation. I did the same thing when I first started. But the other people saying the statements are coming from a very malicious point, and they're basically telling me that I'm wasting my time, I can't find gold, and I'm being really, really stupid about it all. But it's not the point. I'm not out here for money. I never really have been out here for money. Money only buys me 3 things that are really important. The first thing is a shelter over my head. The second thing is food in my stomach. And the last thing is more time spent out in the bush doing exactly this and various other things. I might only find 10 bucks in gold, but the memories I go home with are absolutely priceless to me. And that's the most important thing for me, is getting out here and just doing it. It's fun. That's what it's about. Some people race cars, other people go hiking and camping, some people go shooting or fishing. Yeah, they're just hobbies. That's all it is. It's a hobby, a bit of fun. All right, I've come out onto the high terraces above the creek where the old timers stripped everything back from the ancient riverbed. I found lots of bullets and bits of trash and nothing terribly impressive and gold to show you. So I'm going to grab the gold pans out and then we're going to hit the creek and just see if we can't find some of that alluvial. The spot behind me here, I've done a lot of off camera. I've never made a video here high banking, and I found a little bit of gold, not tons, maybe about 1 gram or so over a couple of sessions, just having a bit of fun. I thought I'd come back here and just do a bit more testing and just see if there isn't a deeper pay streak or something I missed, something hiding. Who knows? Let's get to it. One pan's unclassified dirt, and we got a lot of specks. Look at that. Now most of it is ultrafine powdered mustard gold, which is why I was working this spot earlier in the month with a dream mat, because dream mats are really good at catching that kind of gold. A lot of other systems struggle and tend to lose a larger percentage of it. In my testing with the short mini 6 sluice, which is the short sluice box that I've been using, I lose on average on a bad day with incorrect flow about 3 to 5%. It does depend a little bit on the dirt you're working, classification. Lots of things come into it. 3 to 5% loss when I run about 100 litres worth of dirt of that kind of very fine gold, which is acceptable. There are people in the Yukon running wash plants blowing out up to 40% of that kind of gold, the very fine stuff, which is a lot. This is the concentrate's worth of 5 pans. It took me 8.5 minutes to collect that, and we're going to see what kind of gold's hiding under those heavies there. Well, there you go. We've got a ton of specks, but they're all super fine. Which is why I have been high banking this spot, because even though they're very, very fine, there's a lot of them, and a lot of little specks add up very quickly when you can process large quantities of soil. All that gold also came straight off the top from where my shovel is here, which means it's flood gold. And if there's flood gold there, there's going to be more flood gold on the bedrock, which is why I ended up digging this big hole to bedrock. I found a couple of little specimens, some nicer bits, but still not the huge speck count that you'd want from a deposit. So in the future, I'll probably bring the camera back and do another high banking video here just to show you how much small gold can weigh if you're able to move quantity. A little while later, and I think I'm done for the day. I've had an absolute blast getting out here. It was meant to pour rain all day, and the sun has just come out. We found a little bit of gold. We pulled a little bit of lead out of the environment. Hopefully taught you some tips and tricks with the gold monster to help you get out there, because as soon as you can start hearing the targets, you can start recovering them, and a chattery coil or a chattery machine makes it a little bit harder to go and identify those targets. Gold panning in the afternoon, man, it's just my therapy. It's just what I do to relax, and finding a little bit of gold, which we did find a little bit of gold, was absolutely fantastic. Roy Greenhow and William Woolley. Without the support of my patrons, it would be very hard for me to get out here as often as I do to create these videos for you guys. And in the future, we've got a lot of things coming up that are in large part due to the support that my patrons have given me. So thank you to each and every single one of you. So, I wanted to say a massive thank you for watching my video. I hope you did enjoy it. Remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button, the little bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And as always, peace, I'm out.